When Barron Trump walked into one of Los Angeles' most exclusive luxury car showrooms, all eyes turned to him. It wasn't just his presence. It was the bright red MAGA hat on his head that sparked whispers and uneasy glances. The young Trump was there to inquire about a rare multi-million-dollar car, but before he could say much, the manager approached him with a cold, dismissive tone. What happened next left not just the staff, but everyone in the showroom stunned. You won't believe how Barron responded to the rejection. Barron, calm and poised, ignored the stares as he scanned the display of rare luxury cars. His focus was sharp, his interest genuine. He wasn't there to make a statement. He was simply a young man with a love for high-end automobiles. But not everyone saw it that way. The tension in the room thickened as a tall, impeccably dressed manager in his 40s strode over, his sharp gaze locking onto the hat. What was supposed to be a quiet visit was about to turn into something far more dramatic. The manager stopped in front of Barron, his tone crisp but cold. "Good afternoon, sir. I'm afraid we have a strict policy against political statements in this establishment," he said, his eyes narrowing. "I'll have to ask you to remove the hat or leave." The room fell silent. Customers exchanged glances, pretending not to listen, while the staff shuffled awkwardly behind the polished counters. Barron tilted his head slightly, surprised but unshaken. His voice was calm as he replied, "I wasn't aware of such a policy. I'm here to inquire about the limited edition model." His composure contrasted sharply with the growing hostility in the manager's expression. "I'm sorry," the manager continued, his voice now sharper, "but we maintain a neutral space for our clients. The hat violates that standard." The air in the showroom grew heavier as customers leaned in, captivated by the unfolding confrontation. A couple whispered to each other, while a salesman near the back muttered under his breath, "Is that Barron Trump? What's he doing here?" Despite the pressure, Barron remained composed, his tone steady but resolute. "I respect your policy, but I didn't come here to discuss politics. I came to discuss a car." His words were measured, but the manager was unmoved. "I'm afraid that's not possible," the manager said flatly, his voice loud enough for others to hear. "If you don't remove the hat, you'll have to leave." Barron paused for a moment, his expression calm and unreadable. Then, with a slight nod, he adjusted his hat and took a step back. "If that's how you feel, I'll respect your decision," he said, his voice steady. Without another word, he turned and walked toward the glass doors, the eyes of the entire showroom following his every move. As the door closed softly behind him, the tension inside lingered like smoke. Customers began murmuring, some criticizing the manager's actions, others justifying them. "Did that really just happen?" a young man near the entrance whispered. The staff exchanged uneasy glances, and even the manager, who had seemed so confident moments ago, looked slightly uneasy. But outside, Barron stood quietly, his calm demeanor masking a deeper determination. He pulled out his phone, typing a message. "Something just happened," he wrote to a close contact. Then he made a call, his voice purposeful. "I have an idea," he said. "Let's turn this into something bigger." What was Barron planning? You won't believe how he decided to respond to the rejection. Stay tuned. This story is only just beginning. Outside the showroom, Barron Trump stood silently for a moment, the warm California breeze brushing against his face. His expression was calm, but his mind was racing. He wasn't angry, disappointed perhaps, but he had been raised to handle situations with grace, not confrontation. Pulling his phone from his pocket, he dialed a familiar number. The line rang once before a voice answered on the other end. "Hey, I need your help," Barron said, his voice steady but filled with purpose. "Something happened, and I think we can turn it into something positive." The person on the other end listened intently as Barron laid out his idea. "I don't want this to just be another headline. Let's make it about something bigger, something constructive." Meanwhile, inside the showroom, the atmosphere remained tense. Customers who had witnessed the interaction whispered among themselves. "Did you see how calm he was?" one woman murmured. "He didn't even argue." A salesman leaned toward the manager, his tone cautious. "Do you think that was the right call? That was Barron Trump, after all." The manager straightened his tie, his jaw tight. "It doesn't matter who he is. We have policies and I enforce them. End of story." But it wasn't the end of the story, not even close. Word of the incident began to spread, starting with a customer who had discreetly snapped a photo of Barron as he left the showroom. The image, paired with the caption, "Barron Trump kicked out of luxury car showroom for his hat," really hit social media within minutes. The post quickly gained traction, sparking debates and polarizing opinions. "Unbelievable. This is what we've come to? Kicking someone out for a hat?" One user commented. Another fired back, "It's their policy. He should have followed it. No exceptions." The hashtags number respect all and number Barron Trump began trending as the story gained momentum, drawing attention from influencers, commentators, and even news outlets. Within hours, the showroom's social media pages were flooded with comments, some supportive, others scathing. Back outside, Barron was already working on his plan. With the help of a few close contacts, he set the wheels in motion for something that would completely redefine the narrative. He wasn't interested in revenge or fueling division. Instead, he wanted to send a message, one that would rise above the noise of debates and controversy. As Barron walked down the block, he made another call. "Let's get this organized as soon as possible," he said firmly. "I want it to be visible, meaningful, and something everyone can be part of." His calm determination was unwavering, a reflection of the values he'd been taught since childhood. Inside the showroom, however, the mood was far from calm. The manager, who had initially been so confident in his decision, began to feel the weight of the backlash. Scrolling through the showroom's social media account, he saw the flood of comments criticizing the incident. "So much for a neutral space," one person wrote. "Treating people like this isn't neutral, it's judgmental." Another read, "Respect goes both ways. You could have handled this differently." The manager's jaw tightened as he read the comments, but deep down, a small seed of doubt began to grow. Had he really made the right call? As the online conversation escalated, news outlets began covering the story. Headlines like "Barron Trump denied service over MAGA hat" and "Luxury showroom faces backlash after high-profile incident" flooded the internet. The incident became the talk of the town, sparking debates about respect, personal beliefs, and the balance between policy and individual dignity. Barron, however, was focused on the future, not the past. He sat quietly in a small cafe down the street, jotting notes into a leather-bound notebook. Around him, people were glued to their phones, reading about the incident and sharing their opinions. Barron didn't pay attention to the noise. He was crafting a plan that would turn this moment of rejection into an opportunity for unity and understanding. What was Barron planning? The next steps would leave the city and the entire internet in awe. Don't miss what comes next. His response will redefine the meaning of grace and resilience. The next morning, the quiet block outside the luxury showroom began to transform. Trucks arrived early, unloading equipment, tables, banners, and sound systems. Volunteers worked swiftly to set up what was shaping up to be a massive public event. At the center of it all stood Barron Trump, overseeing the arrangements with calm determination. His red MAGA hat was still firmly in place, a silent symbol of his unwavering confidence. Above the stage, a bold banner read, "United we stand, respect for all." Social media was already buzzing with anticipation. Barron's announcement the previous night, teasing the event, had gone viral, with millions of views and shares. People from all walks of life were intrigued. "What is Barron planning?" one user wrote. "He's turning rejection into something positive. This is leadership." The hashtags number United We Stand and number Barron Trump event began trending globally as crowds started to gather outside the showroom. Inside the showroom, the manager watched the preparations with growing unease. The once confident man now paced nervously, glancing out the window as the crowd swelled. "This is going to blow up even more," a staff member muttered. The manager sighed, his earlier conviction replaced by doubt. Had he underestimated Barron Trump's ability to turn the situation around? By midday, the event was in full swing. Families, young professionals, and activists mingled among the food trucks, live music, and booths set up for local charities. People held signs with messages like, "Respect over judgment," and "Building bridges, not walls." The atmosphere was electric, buzzing with positivity and unity. Barron's calm presence and thoughtful leadership were impossible to ignore. When Barron finally took the stage, the crowd erupted into applause. As the cheers settled, he stepped forward, his voice steady and filled with conviction. "A few days ago, I was asked to leave this showroom because of a hat," he began, his tone calm yet powerful. "But this isn't about what happened that day. It's about what we can do today. It's about showing that respect doesn't need to depend on agreement. We can disagree without division. We can listen, learn, and grow together." The crowd erupted into applause again, some visibly moved by his words. Barron continued, "This event isn't about me, and it's not about them. It's about all of us. It's about choosing kindness, respect, and understanding, even when it's difficult." The crowd's energy reached a fever pitch as they cheered loudly, inspired by his message of unity. If this story is inspiring you, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us bring more powerful stories like this one to light. Stay tuned for the incredible conclusion. You won't believe how the manager reacts to this event. As the event carried on, the energy outside the showroom only grew stronger. The crowd continued to swell, and news outlets began arriving to cover the unexpected gathering. Live streams on social media captured every moment, with hashtags like #UnitedWeStand and #RespectForAll trending at the top of platforms worldwide. People from all over joined in the discussion, inspired by Barron's ability to transform rejection into a moment of positivity and unity. Inside the showroom, the staff couldn't resist sneaking glances outside. The once bustling showroom now felt eerily quiet, with only a few hesitant customers wandering in, their attention repeatedly drifting toward the event outside. The manager stood near the window, arms crossed, his expression unreadable. A younger staff member approached him cautiously. "You should go out there," she said softly. "Talk to him. This is your chance." The manager stiffened, shaking his head. "This isn't my fight," he replied, though his voice lacked the confidence it had just days before. The staff member persisted. "It might not be your fight, but it's definitely your opportunity. You know you were wrong. Go make it right." Outside, Barron continued to move through the crowd, shaking hands, listening to people's stories, and posing for photos. His genuine presence made an impression on everyone he interacted with. "He's so mature for his age," a woman whispered to her husband. "I came out of curiosity, but now I feel like I'm part of something bigger." The event reached its peak as Barron invited several local organizations to speak about their work. Youth mentorship programs, community outreach groups, and charities advocating for unity all took the stage, their messages amplifying Barron's vision for a more understanding world. The event wasn't just a response to the incident, it had become a platform for something far more meaningful. Finally, the moment came that no one expected. The showroom doors opened and the manager stepped outside, his expression a mixture of nervousness and determination. The crowd parted slightly as he walked toward Barron, the noise of the gathering fading into a low murmur. Barron noticed him immediately, offering a small, polite smile but staying composed. The manager hesitated before speaking, his voice quieter than usual. "I owe you an apology," he began, his tone sincere. "I let my personal judgment get in the way of treating you with the respect every customer deserves. Watching what you've done here today, it's humbling. You've turned a moment of conflict into something positive, and I was wrong to misjudge you." Barron nodded, his expression calm yet encouraging. "It takes courage to admit when you're wrong," he replied. "Thank you for coming out and saying this." The crowd, sensing the resolution, began to applaud, their cheers filling the air. The manager continued, his voice growing steadier. "I'd like to find a way to support what you're doing here. If there's anything the showroom or I can do to contribute, I'm happy to help." Barron paused, considering the offer before replying. "Maybe the best way to contribute is to reflect on how we treat each other. Policies are important, but they should never come at the expense of kindness and understanding. Perhaps the showroom could host an event like this one in the future, something that brings people together instead of pushing them apart." The manager blinked, clearly caught off guard by the suggestion, but then nodded slowly. "That's a great idea," he said. "Let's make it happen." If this story has moved you, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. The final moments of this story will leave you inspired. You don't want to miss how Barron wraps up this unforgettable day. Stay tuned. As the applause continued, Barron and the manager shook hands, a simple gesture that symbolized a powerful moment of reconciliation. The crowd, inspired by what they had just witnessed, erupted into cheers, their energy a testament to the importance of unity and understanding. Volunteers and attendees alike smiled and exchanged hopeful glances, feeling as though they were part of something much larger than a single event. Barron returned to the stage for the final speech of the day. The crowd fell silent, their attention fully focused on him. Standing tall and confident, he addressed the audience with a voice filled with sincerity and purpose. Today isn't just about what happened to me. It's about what we can all do when faced with challenges, disagreements, or moments of judgment. It's about how we choose to respond. He paused, scanning the sea of faces before him. We live in a time when it's easy to let our differences divide us, to judge someone based on what they wear, believe, or say. But that's not who we are. That's not who we have to be. We can choose kindness over judgment, understanding over division, and action over indifference. The crowd broke into applause again, but Barron wasn't finished. This event isn't just about standing up for respect. It's about showing that even when we disagree, we can still find common ground. It's about proving that unity is stronger than division. As the crowd cheered, Barron smiled and nodded, thanking them for their support. The banner above the stage, "United We Stand, Respect for All," fluttered gently in the breeze, a powerful reminder of the event's purpose. Families and individuals, some of whom had come out of sheer curiosity, now left inspired, carrying the message of the day back to their own communities. Inside the showroom, the manager stood quietly near the window, watching the final moments of the event. He had started the day feeling confident in his decision, but now he understood the power of humility and growth. He turned to one of his staff members, who had been watching with him, and said, "This is a lesson I won't forget. It's time for us to do better." As the sun began to set, Barron made his way through the crowd, shaking hands, thanking volunteers, and posing for photos with attendees. His calm demeanor and genuine interest in those around him left a lasting impression on everyone he met. One attendee, a father with his young daughter, approached him and said, "Thank you for this. My daughter now understands what it means to stand up for respect and kindness." Barron smiled, shaking the man's hand. "That means more to me than anything," he replied warmly. As the event came to a close, Barron stood on the stage one last time, looking out over the diverse crowd. "Thank you for being here today," he said, his voice filled with gratitude. "Thank you for showing the world that respect and kindness are values worth standing up for. Together, we've proven that even in moments of conflict, unity is possible." The crowd erupted into a standing ovation, their cheers echoing through the streets. Barron stepped off the stage, greeted by his friends and supporters, and together they walked away, leaving behind a powerful message of hope and understanding. If this story inspired you, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like this video to help us share more powerful stories like this one. Let's spread the message of unity, one story at a time.